Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be doing a three-way comparison with a Chevy Silverado LTZ, a Ram 1500 Laramie, and a Ford F-150 Lariat. And this comparison is about as good as it gets because all of these trucks are almost the exact same price. But before we get in this video, I want to mention a couple things. First off, this will be a two-part series. This first part is going to be a walk-around comparison, and then the second part is going to be a driving comparison. And then the second thing I want to mention is a huge shout-out and thank you to the Lariat Miller, Chevy here in Provo, the Dodge Ram here in Provo, and the Ford here in Provo with giving me some time with all three of the trucks. I'll include a link to all of their inventories in the description down below. Definitely check them out. And then as always, if you want to save time and money, the next time you purchase a car, link to my car buying guide in the description down below. Let's get into the video. And I was like, So under the hood of the Silverado, we have a naturally aspirated 5.3 liter V8 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 16 around town and then 20 on the highway, with power outputs being 355 horsepower and then 383 pound-feet of torque. Now with the Ram, we have a naturally aspirated 5.7 liter Hemi V8 that goes through an 8-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy with this, because it has the e-torque system, is 18 around town and then 22 on the highway, with power outputs being 395 horsepower and then 410 pound-feet of torque. The e-torque also adds another 130 pound-feet off the line. And then with the Ford, we have a twin-turbo 3.5 liter V6 that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Power outputs with this are 400 horsepower and then 500 pound-feet of torque, with fuel economy being 17 around town and then 23 on the highway. And now something to note is there are other powertrain options available with all of the trucks. The ones that excite me the most are the ones I'm going to mention. So with the Chevy, you can also get a 6.2 V8 or a 3.0 Duramax diesel. With the Ram, for the time being, you can get a 3-liter EcoDiesel, but that's going to be discontinued in the very near future. And then with the Ford, you can get the PowerBoost powertrain, which is that EcoBoost paired to a hybrid system, or you can also get a 5-liter V8 naturally aspirated. Now, before we go over the front ends, I do want to mention, if you want to see more videos just like this, then I recommend you subscribe because I post content every single day. Now, my color choice today was very gray, to say the least. But regardless, first off, starting with the Silverado with the LTZ package, it definitely gives it that luxury truck appearance. So you guys can see you've got a bunch of chrome on the front end. You actually have tow hooks there on the front end as well. Fog lights at the very bottom. And I think that it looks fantastic, especially with this color. It just absolutely pops. Now, something to note is you can't get a cool sport package with the LTZ. If you want like sporty looks, you have to get an RST, which is kind of a downgrade from the LTZ. But anyways, moving over to the Laramie, this has the sport package on it, so that's why you have the hood vent right there, which is pretty aggressive. Notice the grille is darker in coloration. You got the chrome Ram logo. No tow hooks on this Ram though, but we do have fog lights as well as parking sensors. And then popping over to the Ford, this one also has a sport package on it. That's why the bumpers are body painted and why the grille is darker in coloration. And then you guys can see with those daytime running lights, those look pretty cool. They're just on the outside of the headlights. And we do have tow hooks here on the Ford, but something to note is that we don't have parking sensors. So I guess that the Silverado wins in terms of having fog lights, tow hooks, and parking sensors on the front end. So with the Silverado, our tire and wheel setup is 275/60/20 in the front and the rear. And then you guys can see we've got our Z71 badge right here. And then look at the chrome on the mirror and then also on the door handles as well. I'll give you guys a full side view on all the trucks in just a moment, but there's the Silverado. With the Ram, our tire and wheel setup is 275/55/20 in the front and in the rear. And again, look at the chrome design there on the wheels. Notice this one has the trailer tow mirrors, so they do flip up. And then you got like that chrome Ram logo, body painted door handles. And then we got these pretty chunky fender flares. Now with the Ford, our tire and wheel setup is 275/65/18 in the front and in the rear. So more of like an off-road oriented setup, that is for sure. And you can see, especially with those all-terrain tires. But anyways, got a little Lariat badge right there, body painted mirrors as well as door handles. And this one actually has fixed side steps. Now here's our full side view on the Silverado. You guys can see all those body lines, definitely looks sharp. Now something to note, the Silverado has independent front suspension, a solid rear axle, and then it utilizes leaf springs in the rear. Now I can't exactly give you guys a side view of the Ram because it's squished between the Ford and the Chevy, but anyways, independent front suspension, solid rear axle, and then this has multi-link in the back end, so no leaf springs, which is definitely interesting, and then kind of like softer body lines compared to the Chevy. Now with the Ford, you guys can see the cuts there on the fenders. Those definitely look aggressive. But anyways, we have independent front suspension with the Ford, solid rear axle, and then we have leaf springs in the back with the Ford. Okay, well, here is my jumble of keys. So the Silverado key is the one on the right, and then the Ram key on the left, and then Ford in the middle. But anyways, notice functionality in all the keys is identical. They all have remote start, they all have tailgate drop down, and well, they're all expensive to replace if I happen to drop any of these right now. Now, before we dive into the bed features, I do want to mention payload capacities. So 1,739 pounds, 1,715 pounds, and then 1,534 pounds. So the Ford has the highest payload. The Silverado's not too far behind, and then the Ram is, well, a couple hundred pounds behind. Now, when it comes to bed features, first off, Ford has this cool tailgate step system. You can press this out and then it'll pop out to be a step. You also have this like measuring chart on the tailgate. We have a power outlet here in the bed, LED bed lights as well. No liner though, but you can get that as an option from the factory. But the coolest thing with the Ford is I can just nudge this with my knee and then it'll pop right up. Now, popping over to the Ram, this particular Ram has the least amount of bed features. You can add LED bed lights and stuff like that, but this particular one just doesn't have it, so that's all. Now with the Silverado, this one not only has bed protection, but it has LED bed lights and it has an outlet. So this one technically has the most amount of bed features out of the bunch, and I don't think I can do the same nudge thing as with the, oh, I can. Holy crap! Are you guys copying each other's homework? And then when it comes to rear design, obviously this is going to come up to personal preference, but there are some interesting things to note. So with the Ford, you got these cool LED tail lights here, and notice F-150 stamped into the bed, and then you guys can see the parking sensors. Now, speaking of towing capacity, as we're looking at the receiver hitch, something to note is if you get the max trailer package and everything with the Ford, you're going to be close to like 13,000 pounds, which is pretty crazy. Now with the Ram, we also have LED taillights as well, dual exhaust tips, which look really good. I like that like curvy line right there. Now, if you get the 392 axle ratio with this truck, then you're going to be right in that like 11,000 pound range with the towing capacity. And then with the Silverado, you guys can see kind of boxier with the design, and we got the bumper steps, which Chevy has been known for forever, and then we got the squished exhaust tip covers, which are also kind of known for now. But anyways, if you get the max trailing package on a Silverado, if you have it equipped with either the diesel or the 6.2 V8, your towing capacity is somewhere in like almost 13,000 pound range, which is just crazy. So starting with the Ford's rear interior area, I guess the seat's up. But anyways, we got this like two-tone door panel, which is pretty interesting. You guys can see we've got little window control here, and then look at the darker trim right there with the cup holder down below. Speaker for the Bang & Olufsen sound system and plenty of storage space. And if you're wondering, getting the seat down is really easy. You just got to pull that loop and then pull the seat down. Now I've got these nice leather seats here. Notice perforated all down the center, and then you got this nice piping there on the side as well. And then popping in, legroom is great. Got a little storage pocket here. And notice with the cup holder action, got some vents, got some climate controls down below. Or not climate controls, sorry, outlets. I don't know what I'm saying. It's cold, guys. I blame it on the cold. And then we have a cup holder armrest. Now popping over to Le Ram, you guys can see here with the door panel, really cool with the design. I think that Ram's done a great job with that. And then popping over here to the seats, cool with the suede inserts, notice perforated all down the center. And then just like the Ford, you can lift up the seat for storage underneath. But what the Ram has that neither truck has is ice buckets, which is cool. And then popping in, just as spacious, I feel like, as the Ford. Yeah, and then notice we got a little storage pocket here. We got some cup holder action, some charging ports with some vents, and good old-fashioned cup holder armrest. And then with the Silverado, you guys can see here with the door panel, we got like the darker wood trim here, and then look at the stitching that goes throughout, and then again, plenty of storage just like the other two. And then here are the seats perforated down the center. We got this like cubby here, and then under seat storage just like the other two. And then popping in, yeah, it's massive back here. And then you guys can see we've got a little storage space here, cup holders, heated seats for the back, some charging ports, and of course, cup holder armrest. Now with the front of the Ford, first off, you guys can see that two-tone design continues. And then look at all of our window controls. Notice with the front windows, they're automatic. You got your mirror adjustments. The mirrors do power fold in. Memory seat functionality, blind spot monitoring in the mirrors, and then this has the Bang & Olufsen sound system. And then with the front seat, and the nice headrest there, notice perforated all down the center portion. We do have our power adjustments there on the side. We also have our pedal adjustment here, light controls, mirror lights, and then the steering wheel is manually adjustable. And then look at the silver trim here on the side. And popping in, ooh, built Ford tough. So here is the steering wheel. We've got nice padding all around. Got some controls for the center stack. This does come with cruise control, volume controls, voice command controls as well. And then taking a quick dive into this digital gauge cluster. First off, you got a bunch of different menus to see different bits of info on the truck. Pretty standard stuff. Most modern vehicles have something like that. But you have a ton of different drive modes for like tons of different conditions. Main stuff is going to be like your tow haul mode, for example. You got a sport mode, and then you have a bunch of like off-road / inclement weather driving modes as well. And then in reverse, this has a full 360 camera system. So you can see out of every single angle of the truck, including you got like a bed cam. That's for your auxiliary cam. So camera system on this is solid, and you can also access it with a button right there at the top. You have hill descent control there at the top as well as stability control. 12-inch display here at the infotainment system. Response time at the screen is fantastic. You've got a bunch of different menus you can go through to access different equipment here with the vehicle, like your zone lighting, for example. And then it does have this auxiliary tab here on the side to see other stuff like how economical you are through driving. Now this does come with Ford's Pro Trailer Assist. We also have trailer brake controls, our drive line select. So this has 2-wheel high, 4-wheel auto, and 4-wheel low, as well as a locker in the rear. We've got our volume controls here with our heated and cooled seats, and dual zone climate if you're wondering. And then down below here, we got a wireless phone charging pad with some USBs, and we have our shifter that does fold down with that little function right there. Has a manual shift function if you're gonna shift the gears yourself. A couple cup holders right next to it. And then here's the center console, which, by the way, pretty massive with the storage space right there. I like the two-tone design, by the way. And then glove box setup, which, look at the finish there, and then also on the dash as well. And then we got a sunglass holder and power sliding rear window. And then popping over to Laramie, you guys can see here with the door panel, look at all of the trim here, like the suede insert. Memory seat functionality, front 2 windows automatic. The mirrors do power fold in. They also flip up because they're the trailer tow mirrors, and they have blind spot monitoring. There's quite a bit there. But here are the front seats. Notice Laramie there, and then again perforated all down the center of the seat. We do have our pedal adjustment here with our light control. Steering wheel adjustments manual, and well, let's pop in here. Ooh, fancy. So here's a quick look at our steering wheel itself. Really nice trim all around. We do have our cruise control, radio controls on the back, gear limiter, and then controls for the center stack. And then of course we have our turn signal, windshield wiper stock. Now this one has like a half analog, half digital gauge cluster. 423, you can get a full digital gauge cluster with the Ram, but it has to be a Laramie with the GT package, or it has to be a Rebel, a TRX, or a Limited, or a Longhorn. So there's, yeah, a lot of packages that can have it, but not a regular Laramie like this, sadly. Anyways, it shows you different bits of information on the vehicle. There's not really drive modes with the Ram. And then, popping into reverse, you guys can see we've got a regular backup camera there with the trajectory lines that turn with the steering wheel. And then this is Ram's 8.4-inch infotainment system. You can get a 12-inch display, but obviously that's going to cost you a little bit of extra cheddar. Now, dual zone climate controls, heated and ventilated seats. Response time with the screen is pretty good. It does take a second for some things to load up, but I'd say a good system overall. There is a 12-volt there at the top. And while we're looking at the top, look at the dash. A lot more surface is covered compared to the Ford. And then notice Harman Kardon sound system. And then with the 8.4-inch, you get analog controls. So like your analog controls for the radio, climate system, the heated cooled seats. And then here's for the parking sensors. Turn those on or off, your tow haul mode, stability control. That's for the trailer brake controls. And then we've got our dial shifter for the 8-speed automatic. And notice we've got our 2-wheel drive, 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel high, 4-wheel low. And then we have our auto stop start as well. Now, this has what I would say is the best center console in the business because, well, first off, you got that storage space, you got the measuring charts in the back, but you have this like that slides backwards and forwards, and all underneath here is all storage. So it's enormous. Wireless phone charging pad, you got some USBs, and then you have a full power outlet there as well. And we've got our double glove box set up here. Notice it says Laramie there. You can get a camera mirror with the Rams, but this one just has the traditional one. And then we have got a power sliding rear window. Now popping over to the Chev, you guys can see with the door panel design and material use. Notice front two windows, automatic. It's like they're all copying each other. It's hilarious. You've got the power folding mirror function, memory seats, blind spot monitoring with the mirrors. And then here are the front seats. It's all blacked out. Notice perforated all down the center portion. We've got our power adjustments here on the side. And then notice this is for a heads-up display to adjust that. This is our drive line select. So just like the other two, it has 4-wheel high, 4-wheel auto, 4-wheel low, and 2-wheel drive. We have a drive mode select, our tow haul mode, and then all of our light controls. Steering wheel is power adjustable, and grab the grab handle, pop in. Ooh, fancy, fancy, fancy. So with the steering wheel, really nice trim all around. Just like the Ram, it's got radio controls there on the back. We also have paddle shifters here on the back as well for the 10-speed automatic. Got a heated steering wheel button on the steering wheel. Controls for the center stack, cruise control as well. And then just like the Ford, full digital gauge cluster here in the center. And so you can see different bits of info here in the center, just like the Ford. And it also has those drive modes. So tow haul mode is what it was in. We've got a sport mode and then an off-road mode as well, so they kind of make it a little bit more simplistic. Now with the screen, well, first off, we gotta stay in demo mode, I suppose. If we pop it into reverse, we have a 360 camera system, just like the Ford. So you can see out of a bunch of different angles with the truck. I will say this has more camera viewpoints than the Ford though. And then as for the rest of the screen, it's a larger infotainment screen. It's got like a little side thing there. And then you've got the main screen with Android Auto and Apple CarPlay, shortcuts bar, so easy to use. And then we have a ton of controls down here. So lane departure, parking, sensors, auto stop start, your tailgate drop down and raise, hazard lights, stability control, hill descent control, and then the windows to roll them all down at once. Trailer brake controls integrated from the factory. Dual zone climate with heated and ventilated seats. And then we have kind of like our little storage area here with the cup holders and storage in front. Shifter for that 10-speed automatic. So it's kind of more of like a regular shifter here. And then look at like the perforations on top of the center console. That's pretty nice looking. Wireless phone charger inside of the center console. Now this one's still big, but it is definitely the least spacious out of the bunch. The Ram obviously has the biggest center console because like the whole thing is storage. But this does have little storage pockets here on the side. And then we got double glove box just like the other two. Notice perforated on the front. And then look at the padding here on top of the dash. And then this one actually has a camera mirror, which is nice. And then we have a power sliding window, just like the other two. And I mentioned it before, but I'll quickly show it. Heads-up display. Now when it comes to pricing, the Ford stickers for about $67,000, the Ram there in the center, stickers for almost $68,000, and then these Chevy stickers for about $66,000. So that is going to sum things up with our walk-around comparison with all three of these trucks. I want you guys to let me know which truck you would pick out of this bunch, whether it's the Chevy, the Ram, or the Ford, and why. And again, I feel like this was like a perfect comparison because, I mean, we literally have like roughly a less than $2,000 price swing between all the trucks, which is as close as I've been able to get with the truck availability we've had over the last little bit. But again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lariat Ford here in Provo, the Chevy here in Provo, and the Ram here in Provo for giving me some time with all three of the trucks. I really appreciate it. Link to all their inventories in the description down below. I'll see ya.